We realized that there is something wrong with this world. There's something off.
How can I fit into this world? Why does it feel that I am the only one that doesn't fit into this world? The hardest thing for me was not to feel alone in my job or in what I'm doing. We have to suffer to deserve something.
How are your films received in France, or this idea of spirituality?
In France, it's a little different than in the US.
We can come in this world and we can focus on the world as you were doing when you were in business school. Everybody says, this is what you should do. But you realize this is not satisfying me. This is not feeding my soul. There's something more for me.
Yep.
So you've created this channel and this great service out of that, realizing that other thing was not for you.
Yes, basically that's what I did, yes. But it's not easy because on the one side, you can grasp something. You will have a job. You will have money, you will have friends or parents or whatever understanding what you're doing. So you can grasp what you would have on this path. But on the other side, the intuition path, you don't grasp anything. It's like, I feel I have to go this way, but that's it.
Right.
So you cannot even explain what you're doing to other people around you. That's why so many people, when they change careers or when they make other plans in their life, a lot of people lose friends when they change plans because you cannot explain what you're doing. What you have a deep intuition and you cannot explain it to other people. You are left with yourself.
Right. Well, it goes back to the 3D world. And I think for people like yourself and people that have NDEs, they wake up to the reality that this world is not real. So the people that are stuck in 3D are chasing jobs and careers and things that, as you said, they're tangible. They're right here in front of us, but we know that they're not real, that they don't last.
Yes. And for me, it's one way. I try to tell myself this story like it's a good way to feel good about myself because it's what I experience on a daily basis. But sometimes it was just like a failure. I cannot fit into this world. You know, it's like you see a video game. It's like I saw a video game of people, of cars on the freeways and buildings and all this kind of stuff. And I see that I said to myself, there is something I don't get about this world. How can I fit into this world? Why does it feel that I am the only one that doesn't fit into this world? And I'm not the only one I know, but
that's how it feels.
Like it feels like it. It's not a good feeling.
I heard your interview with Lee Whitting, and you mentioned the fact when you were a little kid, you had this feeling of like a purple thing in your chest, I think was the way you described it, that connection. And when I was a child, I didn't fit into the world either. And I would lie awake at night and say, what is wrong with me or what is wrong with the world that this doesn't make any sense to me? I was a kid during the Vietnam War, and I remember I watched on television every night people killing each other, and they would show the body count. And I thought, what kind of a world is it when people go out and try to kill strangers? It never made sense to me.
Yes, that's that kind of feeling, yes.
Yes. So I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate you. The thing I love about NDEers sharing this with us and you sharing it with us through them sharing it through you is it makes some of us not feel so alone. And we realize that there is something wrong with this world. There's something off.
Yes, because I think right now a lot of people are trying to fit into their life or their jobs because they feel alone otherwise. And it's not just about the lack of money, because you can always find a way to make money. It's like I say that, but I used to have a lot of fears about money, so it's not an easy thing. I can always find a way to make money, but the hardest thing for me was not to feel alone in my job or in what I'm doing. I mean, not alone literally in my life, but alone like am I right to do this? You know, is it complete nonsense? Does it make any sense? You know.
Mm-hmm. You want to have some sense of purpose. I was watching the film earlier, your film, Who We Are, and I think it was Dean Radin was talking about, I know a lot of very wealthy people that aren't very happy. And I think one of the problems with this world is once we get that wealth and we think this is the thing, and then that doesn't make us happy, then we're even more depressed. Because we realize that's not the thing.
Yes, there is nothing wrong about having a very big house or several big houses and a lot of millions of euros or dollars in the bank account. It's a very nice thing to have, but it won't bring us what we think it will. It won't bring us any meaning.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit because I know you live in France mostly. How are your films received in France, or this idea of spirituality? 'Cause how does that go over there?
In France, it's a little different than in the US. The general population is divided. Like some people are awakening to these subjects, some are not. But on average, I have a lot of people interested in these subjects in France. But on the official level, like how can I say it, like the magazines hardly never share this kind of subjects. There is no like a Gaia, Gaia.com in the US. You have this website. We don't really have this kind of organizations in France. It's almost forbidden, by the state. It's kind of not a good thing to do in France.
It's still considered kind of fringe here in the US. I think there's more, the internet has helped a lot, channels like yours where it's the democratization, right? We don't have to get permission to put it out. You can put it out.
It's a little more open in the US.
And you can put it out.
Ideal.
And I got to tell people, I mean, your films, some of them have millions of views, and your interviews get, tens of thousands of hits. So there's a real appetite for this that people, you mentioned earlier, as we're going through this, the things we're going through, we talked right before about, we're not going to get political, but, going through COVID and everything, people are realizing this world is not making them happy. It's not satisfying them.
Yes, and I wonder if it's not the message behind all the things we're living right now as a society. Maybe it's like we have to get something, we have to get it soon, like we have to get something. And if we don't, I mean collectively, some not very good things happen and are going to happen, because it's like it's not a choice anymore. We have to evolve now.
Sometimes people grow through suffering, and you're saying it would be great if we didn't have to. It seems like we need to hit a point of crisis sometimes before we wake up.
French spiritual teacher used to say, you don't have to get a slap in the face every morning to evolve, You can just get it without the suffering. It doesn't have to be that painful. You can just, it's like when you learn something, a new skill. You don't have to suffer a lot every time you learn something. Sometimes you have to, but it's not all the time. But in the Catholic religion, I was brought Catholic. It's a very deep belief, unconscious belief that we have in France. I think it's like we have to suffer to deserve something. It's an unconscious belief that we have. Like if you don't suffer, you have to show that you suffer, that it's hard, so that you can deserve something.